Before we talk about plans, strategies, or execution, we have to talk about clarity, because clarity is the foundation of everything that follows. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. When the calendar changes, most lives don't. The year flips, the numbers change, but the habits stay the same, the thinking stays the same, and the results stay the same. Not because people lack potential, but because they never stop long enough to ask themselves some hard questions. Clarity starts with honesty, real honesty, not the kind you post online or say out loud to sound motivated, but the kind you sit with when nobody's watching. Where am I actually in life right now? Not where I should be, not where I want to be. Where am I emotionally, financially, mentally, spiritually? Most people skip this step because it's uncomfortable. But without it, every plan is built on illusion. You can't chart a course if you don't know your current location. And clarity also means understanding patterns. If you look at the last few years of your life and they all feel strangely similar, that's not bad luck. That's unexamined behavior. Same reaction, same excuses, same environment, same people, same self-talk, different years, same script. Philosophy teaches us that a life unexamined is not worth living, but psychology goes even further. It tells us that what we don't examine, we repeat. If 2025 looked a lot like 2024 and 2024 looked like 2023, then walking blindly into 2026 is not optimism, it's denial. Clarity requires reflection, but not nostalgia. This isn't about beating yourself up for mistakes. It's about extracting lessons. Every failure has information in it. Every disappointment is data. If something didn't work, the question isn't, why am I like this? The question is, what did this teach me about my systems, my mindset, my discipline? High performers don't just experience life, they study it. They audit their own behavior. They treat their past like research, not like a prison. And here's where it gets deeper. Clarity isn't only about what you want. It's about why you want it. A lot of people say they want success, but they've never defined what success actually means to them. Is it money, freedom, impact, peace, validation? If you don't define it, society will, your family will, social media will. And you'll spend years chasing goals that don't even belong to you, wondering why you feel empty when you get close. Psychologically, the brain needs specificity to commit. Vague goals create vague effort. I want to do better. Next year doesn't move the nervous system, but I want to improve this skill, change this habit, leave this environment, and build this routine. Gives the mind something to organize around. Clarity reduces anxiety because uncertainty is exhausting. When the brain doesn't know what matters, everything feels urgent. That's why people feel busy but unfulfilled, motion without direction. Now let's talk about identity, because clarity is not just about outcomes. It's about who you are becoming. Every year you are either reinforcing an identity or evolving one. If you still see yourself as the procrastinator, the unlucky one, the person who starts but never finishes, then no plan will survive that self-image. You will unconsciously sabotage it. Clarity means deciding intentionally the type of person you are committed to being in 2026. Disciplined, consistent, focused, courageous, not perfect, but intentional. Eric Thomas often talks about hunger, and hunger starts with knowing exactly what you're hungry for. You can't sacrifice for something you're unclear about. You can't wake up early, stay late, or push through discomfort for a blurry vision. Clarity sharpens desire. It turns motivation from emotion into commitment. So before we rush into planners, calendars, and goal lists, we pause, we reflect, we define, we get clear. Because clarity is the difference between entering 2026 with momentum or entering it on autopilot. One leads to growth, the other leads to regret. Hope is a beautiful thing, isn't it? It keeps us going when everything feels impossible. It whispers to us that tomorrow could be better than today. But here's the hard truth that most people ignore. Hope without a plan is like a car with no steering wheel. You can move, but you're going nowhere meaningful. Hope alone doesn't change circumstances. It only keeps us dreaming. And if you walk into 2026 with nothing but hope, you are setting yourself up to be reactive, not proactive. You are waiting for life to hand you opportunity instead of creating it. A plan transforms hope into direction. It gives your hope a structure, a skeleton to lean on, a way to move from vague desire into deliberate action. Psychology tells us that the human mind craves structure. When we visualize a goal without a map, we experience what's called goal ambiguity. the brain gets confused, anxious, and drained. That's why you felt frustrated after setting big goals before. You had the desire, you had the dream, but you lacked a method. A plan gives your mind clarity. It tells your subconscious, this is possible. This is how we get there. It converts abstract energy into tangible steps. But a plan is not just a list of things to do. It's a philosophy of action. It's a commitment to yourself and to your future. It is where psychology meets philosophy, where understanding how the mind works meets understanding how life works. Philosophers have been talking for centuries about intentionality, that life without direction is a life that drifts into chaos. A plan is intentionality made real. It's a declaration to the universe that you are not a bystander in your own life. You are an architect of your destiny. Think about it. Every major success story is rooted in a plan. Not always a perfect plan, but a plan nonetheless. Elon Musk didn't just hope to revolutionize space travel. He mapped it step by step, building rockets, testing failures, iterating, failing again, and learning. Serena Williams didn't just hope to be the best tennis player in the world. She practiced with precision, visualized every shot, and measured every swing. These aren't lucky people. They are deliberate people. They turned their hope into action. And here's where most people fail. They confuse busyness with progress. They fill their days with motion, thinking that moving is the same as advancing. But without a plan, motion is just noise. A plan forces focus. It helps you identify what's essential, what's urgent, and what's simply a distraction. When you have a plan, you are no longer a leaf in the wind. You are a force moving in a calculated direction. The wind may blow, storms may come, but your trajectory remains intact because you built it with intention. Psychologically, the act of planning also changes your brain chemistry. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, self-control, and foresight, lights up when you engage in goal planning. That's why writing down steps, mapping timelines, and setting milestones isn't just administrative, it's neurological. You are literally training your brain to see possibilities, anticipate obstacles, and take consistent action. Hope gives you energy, but planning gives you endurance. Hope starts the race, but planning ensures you finish it. And we can't forget accountability. A plan without accountability is like a ship without an anchor. You drift. Accountability forces reality to meet intention. It makes your plan more than a wish list. It forces follow through because when you know someone or even just yourself is tracking your commitments, you activate a deeper level of responsibility. Discipline is built on the back of a plan, not on fleeting motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but a plan carries you when motivation fades. Philosophically, a plan is also a promise to yourself. It is a refusal to let life happen by default. It's saying, I deserve more than hope. I deserve results. Too many people treat hope as the destination when it's only the fuel. Fuel doesn't move the car by itself. It requires a driver, a map, and a steering wheel. A plan is all of that. It is the bridge between dreaming and doing. So as we think about entering 2026, ask yourself this. What are you hoping for and how will you make it happen? If hope is all you carry, you risk arriving at December 31st next year with the same frustrations, the same excuses, the same feelings of, I tried, but I didn't change. But if you pair your hope with a plan, one that is clear, intentional, and actionable, you convert potential into progress. You transform possibility into reality. And that is how lives change. Not by chance, not by luck, not by wishful thinking, but by design. Preparation is not just a step, it is a mindset. It's the difference between walking into a storm and standing in it with purpose. Many people think preparation is about landing or obsessing over every detail, but that's a misunderstanding. True preparation is about building resilience, sharpening focus, and creating an internal structure that allows you to face uncertainty with confidence. Life is unpredictable. Obstacles will come. Failures will knock at your door. Setbacks will try to convince you to quit. And if you walk into 2026 unprepared, you will discover something painfully clear. Hope and good intentions are fragile shields. They crumble under pressure. Preparation is what makes those shields unbreakable. Psychology teaches us that humans are wired to avoid discomfort, to seek the path of least resistance. That's why most people fail to prepare. They think, I'll handle it when it comes. But life doesn't wait. Life doesn't negotiate. Challenges arrive whether you're ready or not. And when they do, unprepared people react and prepared people respond. There's a subtle but profound difference between the two. Reaction is chaotic. Response is intentional. Preparation builds the muscle of response. It equips you to act from strategy rather than emotion. Preparation is also a buffer against fear. Fear is a natural part of growth. It's the body and mind's way of signaling risk. But fear becomes paralyzing when you face it unarmed. When you've prepared, fear becomes informative instead of immobilizing. You see the obstacle and already have a plan to navigate it. You see the failure and already have contingencies in place. You see uncertainty and recognize it as a challenge, not a threat. The act of preparation creates psychological safety, and that safety produces confidence. Confidence in turn produces action. Without preparation, confidence is a mirage. Philosophically, preparation is about aligning intention with reality. A plan without preparation is just theory. It looks good on paper, but when life tests you, theory fails. Preparation is where abstract vision meets concrete reality. It is where you practice, rehearse, and simulate the challenges you know, and even some you don't. Athletes understand this intuitively. They don't just dream of winning championships. They condition their bodies, study opponents, refine their skills, and run scenarios before they ever step onto the court. Success in life works the same way. Mental, emotional, and practical preparation all intersect to create an individual capable of extraordinary performance. And preparation is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about reducing the damage of mistakes. Life will test you anyway. Mistakes are inevitable. Failures will happen. But when you prepare, each mistake becomes a T, share instead of a catastrophe. Preparation allows you to recover faster, adjust smarter, and move forward stronger. You begin to see obstacles not as endings, but as feedback loops. Each setback becomes data. Each failure becomes an experiment. And that mindset transforms life from a series of crises into a series of lessons. Let's talk about consistency for a moment. Preparation is not a single act. It is a lifestyle. It's the small, deliberate actions that accumulate over time. Journaling, scheduling, rehearsing, visualizing, training, reflecting, building systems. These aren't glamorous. They aren't exciting, but they create compound results. When the storm hits, when the pressure is unbearable, when everything seems stacked against you, those who have quietly prepared will rise while others stumble. Consistency turns preparation into mastery, and mastery turns pressure into opportunity. There's also a social dimension to preparation. Prepared people influence their environment. They elevate conversations, improve team outcomes, and attract opportunities. Think about it. How often do you notice someone who is clearly unprepared trying to negotiate, lead, or create? Their hesitation, uncertainty, and lack of foresight radiates outward. Contrast that with someone who shows up prepared. Their presence commands respect. Their clarity inspires trust. Their readiness opens doors. Preparation isn't just personal, it's relational. It affects how the world responds to you. And this is why preparation is a form of empowerment. Life will throw challenges, delays, and curveballs. You can't control the external, but you can control your internal readiness. The more prepared you are, the less you are at the mercy of circumstance. Preparation doesn't eliminate struggle, but it guarantees that struggle will find you stronger than before. And that is a profound realization. Your future is not dictated by luck, timing, or chance. It is shaped by how ready you are to meet. So as we think about entering 2026, understand this. The difference between frustration and fulfillment will be preparation. The difference between a year that controls you and a year you control will be preparation. The difference between repeating old patterns and breaking through to new levels will be preparation. Hope and plans matter, but preparation is what turns them into unstoppable momentum. Your future is shaped not by chance, not by luck, not by the people around you, but by the decisions you make today. That's a hard truth, and it's one most people avoid facing. We like to tell ourselves stories. Next year will be different. Things will just work out. I'll figure it out when the time comes. But here's the reality. 2026 will arrive whether you are ready or not. The clock doesn't pause. Life doesn't ask for permission. The difference between a year of frustration and a year of progress is entirely in the choices you make today, right now. Philosophically, this is about ownership. You cannot control everything, but you can control yourself. You can control how you spend your time, how you develop your skills, how you respond to setbacks, and how you nurture the people and environments around you. Each decision, no matter how small, compounds over time. Compound effects are subtle, they're quiet. But by the end of the year, the results are unmistakable. That's why small, intentional decisions matter more than occasional bursts of motivation. It's the daily choices, the extra hour of study, the disciplined routine, the conversation you didn't avoid, the opportunity you didn't ignore that define the trajectory of your year. Psychology shows us that humans naturally discount the future. We overvalue immediate comfort and undervalue long-term gain. That's why procrastination is so seductive. That's why resolutions fail. But the truth is simple. The actions you defer today are the consequences you inherit tomorrow. If you want a 2026 filled with growth, achievement, and fulfillment, you cannot rely on abstract hope or reactive planning. You must act now. You must make deliberate choices that set the stage for the year you desire. And this is where discipline meets freedom. Many people think discipline is restriction. It's the opposite. Discipline is the lever that lifts you from chaos into control. It is freedom in disguise. By deciding today what matters, by prioritizing your time, your habits, and your energy, you create a framework that allows you to navigate uncertainty without panic. Discipline turns your intentions into momentum. It converts the abstract into reality. And it ensures that 2026 becomes a year you design, not a year that happens to you. Your future is also shaped by environment. The people you surround yourself with, the information you consume, the spaces you inhabit, all of it influences your trajectory. If you want a different year, you may need to make difficult decisions now. Who you spend time with, what habits you carry forward, what distractions you eliminate. Preparation, planning, and clarity are powerful, but they can only go so far if the world around you reinforces old patterns. Responsibility means assessing not just your actions, but your influences and making conscious choices to align them with the life you want. And let's be honest, decisions are uncomfortable. They require courage. You may have to say no to things you enjoy, people you care about, or routines that feel safe but aren't serving you. You may have to confront fears, accept failures, and push beyond limits you've tolerated for years. That discomfort is the price of progress. Philosophy reminds us that growth often lies outside familiar. Life doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage. And courage is a daily choice. Every time you choose the path of intention over convenience, you shape your future. There is also an urgent lesson here. Time is the only resource you cannot reclaim. Money can be earned, opportunities may return, mistakes can be corrected, but once a day passes, it is gone forever. Your decisions today are deposits into the account of your future self. What you invest, discipline, focus, preparation, planning determines the balance you carry into 2026. Delay that investment and the deficit will compound. Take it seriously and the compounding is exponential. This is the principle the most successful people understand intuitively. Your future is not a roll of the dice. It is the sum of your consistent, intentional actions. So as you stand on the threshold of 2026, understand this. Waiting is a decision too. Choosing to drift into another year without clarity, without a plan, without preparation is not neutral. It is a decision to leave your life to chance, to leave your growth to circumstance, and to surrender to repetition. But choosing intentionally, clarifying your vision, crafting your plan, preparing relentlessly, and making deliberate choices is how you seize control. It is how you ensure that 2026 is not just another year on the calendar, but a year of transformation. And here's the final truth I want you to carry with you. The life you want in 2026 begins today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Today, every choice you make, every action you take is a brick in the foundation of your year. Build it consciously, build it intentionally. And when the calendar flips, you will not simply step into 2026. You will stride into it as the author of your destiny.